OP's mother secretly gave up on her other daughter multiple years ago, and you will not believe what happens when OP finds out and starts becoming friends with this lost daughter over social media. Stick around to the end to find out how the mom reacts when she figures out they've both been talking. When my mom, 46, female, was 21, she was married to some guy in the United States who was cheating on her when she was pregnant. She hated him and hated that she was living with this baby. Had a traumatic pregnancy, was really depressed, and did not like being a parent. So she signed away rights to Elisa, who's now 25 female, some months after she gave birth. Elisa was adopted by her father's affair partner and raised by her. My mom moved up north here to Canada, fell in love with my dad, and married him when she was 30. She had nothing to do with Elisa besides demanding she never contact her again after she tried to. Last year, my mom finally told me about Elisa, but made it clear that she did not see her as her daughter, and that Elisa's mother was her father's wife. She also demanded that we not try to get them in any sort of contact. So that's cool and all, but I was really fascinated by the idea of a sister that I never had. So I recently started messaging her, and even though she was hesitant at first, we've become good friends, and I said I really want to meet her. She's also becoming really successful in her field of work at the University of Toronto, which is where I want to go. Not gonna lie, I really look up to her and would love to follow in her footsteps, and Toronto's a lot better than the city we live in. The problem was that I left my phone unlocked yesterday, and my mom freaked the heck out when she saw that I was talking to her. She pointed out that she did not want a reunion or me talking with her, that we aren't family, and doesn't want my siblings to know before they're my age. I felt really bad because she started crying a lot, like more than I've ever seen before. My dad told me it would be okay, but he's the one who dropped me off at school, even though it's always her. And I'm wondering if I was an a-hole to hide me messaging Elisa from her instead of just being open about it. What's up, guys? Mr. Reddito here. I hope you're all having a great day. So this story gets pretty intense. It started out intense, but just wait. There's 4 updates for this one. We're about to hop into the second post now. If you're not subscribed to the channel, just take a second and click that button. It seriously helps support the channel, and I appreciate it so much. Here's update number 1. Hey guys, thought I'd update. First thing, I gave my mom a giant hug like my sister does, and said sorry, and she forgave me. Then I had a big talk with mom and dad about Elisa. The first thing my mom asked was if Elisa wanted to meet her. She seemed sad when I told her that Elisa threatened to cut me off if I'd ever try to make them meet. Then it got to what I wanted from Elisa, and I said I just wanted to be her sister, to get to know her and be friends in real life, and not just on the phone. I did admit that I wanted to go pursue the field I told them about, that one at the University of Toronto, because of her. I could tell my mom was getting a bit mad, but Dad pointed out Elisa is really successful, a good role model and a good mentor, and to deny me her would only hurt my future, so I had their permission. My mom did bring up the point that you guys did, like what if I graduate or get married and stuff? I admitted that I did not know, but I'd find stuff that made it better, or find different ways. I guess that hurt my mom, so she said we'll deal when it happens, but that she can work on her pain and if Elisa loves me, she will too. I did have to promise not to tell my siblings, wasn't going to anyways, about Elisa. Next time I talked to Elisa, I told her that mom found out we were talking, and told her the whole mess that happened. She said she was glad that we could keep talking, and it meant a lot to her that I want to be her sister. I told her what mom said about me getting married, and she said they'd find a way. and joked that she could just put on a balaclava mask for all events to avoid being seen. Well, on Christmas, Elisa FaceTimed and showed me a really pretty ring her boyfriend got her, and she was getting married. And my present was tickets to see her in spring break, and an invite to her wedding stuff in summer. She did say if Mom said I could not go, she'd understand. I talked with Mom and Dad, and I can go, as long as I can take my older cousin with me. He's 25 and has known all this for years. According to Elisa, I can. She wants me to have a role in her wedding. Hopefully things aren't bad in March and I can go to Toronto. Honestly, since this has all been great, I talked with Elisa a lot more. She's gotten me into a game called Age of Empires. She's helped me with my chemistry homework. Mom's been going to therapy about her and starting training me in tennis. Oh, and on Friday, I got the invite card to her wedding, and it was written for me as my sweet little sister. So, I guess that's me using my one update to tell you guys that I think it's a happy ending. Update number 2, third post. Hey everyone, it's been a bit. I don't know who'll see this anyways, but posting because spring break's been over for a bit. I have a free block right now, and I finally have something to talk about. So, thankfully, my mom and dad agreed to let me go to Toronto to actually meet Elisa in real life. My cousin Joel had to go with me, but he wanted to go anyways to see a Raptors game against the Cavaliers, so we got 4 tickets for that. So, Elisa, fiancé AJ, came with her to pick Joel and I up from the airport. When I saw Elisa, the first thing she did was give such a big hug that she actually lifted me off the ground. Like, she's so strong and looks so much bigger in real life than she does on FaceTime or on Instagram. When she went to shake Joel's hand, he stupidly said, "Whoa, you're jacked." And I thought it was awkward till AJ started laughing his butt off. Honestly, it was the best trip ever. 'Cause Elisa was changing jobs when we went, I got to spend the entire time with her. They took us all around Toronto and even to Montreal for 2 days, and to Niagara Falls and the Centerville Park, and the Toronto Islands, so much. She even took me out of our way to get an ice cream place called Dimitri's in Brampton. Like, I wish that I could talk about every single thing that we did together. She even said that when I come back in summer, she'll take me to Wonderland because Marineland isn't crap. Like, one day, Joel and I did a workout with Elisa and AJ, and oh my gosh, she's so fit. Like, Joel's strong, but we were like broken after it, and she barely even broke a sweat. She was like, it's a light workout because she was doing it with us. I also met her best friend Kay, who's going to be her maid of honor, and she's so cool too. She's a doctor, by the way. Like, I wish I could go in detail about everything that we did, but it was the best trip ever. Oh, and the Raptors-Cavs game, awesome. Siakam is officially my favorite player ever. He's so cool. I did FaceTime my mom every night, but always away from Elisa, even though she said I did not have to, but I didn't think she'd want to hear my mom's voice to see her face. My dad did ask to talk to Elisa the first night, and she agreed on the condition that she not talk to my mom. They pretty much had a conversation about safety, allergies, and my chemistry assignment that got given over spring break. Like, WTF, Miss Sidhu, who does that? And he thanked her for being the most possible polite role model to me. Elisa did tell me that my dad seemed nice and she'd like to meet him someday. Thankfully, Elisa got me through that assignment so fast, and it wasn't even cheating because she taught me it too. Like, honestly, she's the smartest person. The night before we were going back to Elisa took me out, just by myself to Burger King, and we had that kind of talk where we both ended up crying. She told me she was depressed before I came because she had a miscarriage a few weeks before our visit, but that getting to actually be with me helped make her feel so much better. She also told me that she was going through a really rough time before I first contacted her because of her dad and felt unwanted and had bad thoughts like killing herself. Like she says, she knows it's irrational because she has a great life, but it hurts not to feel wanted by her blood. So me, or us, becoming sisters really helped her get over feeling like a mistake. She then said that she wanted me to be one of her bridesmaids, but I'd be special because I was the best little sister. It sucked, but we had to go home after that. Honestly, I can't wait to graduate, go to Toronto for university, because then I'll be able to stay with Elisa and AJ, and I'll be able to enter the same field as her. Just got a little bit more high school left. My mom and dad did make me and Joel tell them everything about the trip. I can't post anything on my Instagram in case my siblings see it, but that's alright, I guess. My mom seemed sad during all of it, so I did not tell her about our ice cream talk. And she won't know unless she somehow learns how to use this thread and finds my account. But she did seem super sad when I revealed that I was going to be a special bridesmaid. I talked to Dad about it later, and he said not to worry about that, and that Mom's just working through some stuff. I didn't want to press, so I left it alone, but she was sad for a few days before she got back to normal. And since then, I've been talking to Elisa every day. She hasn't started wedding planning yet, but will when summer break starts, so that I can help, even though I'll be a phone call away. She has also been helping my studies for my chemistry exam, and honestly, I think I would have been lost without her. But because of her, I think I'm actually going to do the best in class. Again, I don't know who will read this, but I've contacted a guy who posted it to the other thread, and he said he'll do it when I post, so maybe we'll read again. And if you do, thanks guys! Okay, fourth and final post. I don't know who's going to be reading this so many months later, but I still have like 300 followers, so maybe some. Pretty much, my parents let me go to Elisa's wedding. My mom seemed nervous, more than usual, but Joel was going with me, so I guess it was fine with her. I just had to make sure that I did not post any photos or get tagged in any to keep away from my siblings. We got there 2 weeks ago, and the wedding stuff was in full swing, so AJ is the one who picked us up from the airport, because Elisa's place was really jam-packed. We had to stay in a hotel. But as soon as I did get to see Elisa, she gave me another really big hug that lifted me in the air again. It was so cool meeting all her friends, and the dress that she got for me to wear was great. We did not really get to hang out that much in those 2 weeks, but I did try to help her out as much as I could. Otherwise, I was kind of hanging around Toronto with Joel. I did phone my parents every night. But Elisa did take me out to dinner to tell me how happy she was I was able to come. Oh, then she gave me the best news ever. She found out a few weeks ago that she's pregnant, and that I'm going to be an aunt. I was so excited, like I honestly never imagined I'd be an aunt, cause my siblings are still really young and babyish. I don't know, I just love the idea of having a baby niece or nephew. But Elisa also had some bad news for me. I guess she was like scared to tell me because she did not want me to be disappointed. But pretty much even though she loves Toronto, she doesn't want to raise a kid here. I don't know why, I saw Turning Red with my little siblings and it seemed cool. So she and AJ are going to look for new jobs, and she said that they would probably go back to America, but were looking for a city where they could buy a house and might stay in Canada, but it all just depends. Honestly, I was pretty upset and mad at her when she told me that. I tried not to let it ruin dinner, but I'm sure it did a bit, because she started telling me how we'll always be sisters. How no matter where she goes, I'll be welcomed with her. That she'll always stay in contact and all that. I didn't want to be angry, but I guess I needed to sleep on it, because I did start feeling better after a day or so. But when I went to see her and apologize for how I acted, she was upset and crying, just telling AJ how much she hates her dad. I did not want to spy, so I just backed away. But I did feel really bad because if my mom never gave her up, then maybe she would have had my dad. I did tell her what I heard and why, and I was upset she wasn't going to stay in Toronto. And apologized, and she just smiled and told me she wished it was that simple. The wedding was great, and Elisa looked stunning in her dress. She did not get a white one because she said she did not want to be basic. She got this really amazing blue and black one. It wasn't my style, but it looked so good on her. Then the reception was so good. She introduced me to her mom's family there, and they were nice. Her dad's family did not come aside from a few cousins because she did not invite her dad. She gave a speech, and in it she talked about how much she loved her mom, and how lost she was after she died. How much she loves AJ and how excited she is for their future, so they can finally make the family she's always wanted. When she revealed she was pregnant, everybody cheered. I really liked it because it kind of felt like she's getting everything she ever wanted. And that does make me happy, but the family part almost seemed like a shot at my mom, but I don't want to think into it too much. AJ gave a really nice speech, too, about how much Elisa means to him, and how he finally feels complete with her. We got back yesterday night, and I guess I felt like writing this while it's fresh on my mind. My mom and dad made us tell them everything. My mom did start crying pretty bad when Joel said Elisa was pregnant. I wasn't going to reveal that, because, well, I kind of had a feeling that's how it would go. So I did pretty much get mad at him, but he said sorry. So hopefully Mom doesn't stay mad at him. I don't know when I'll write again. I don't know if I need to. Maybe it's selfish, but I don't care. I hope Elisa does not leave Canada, but I'm really glad that she's happy. Mom seems really happy this morning and has been treating all of us like we're little. She made waffles and is taking us out later, so hopefully, it's all getting better. Okay guys, so there was a lot of comments saying do not blame the mother of this story. It was because she was in an abusive relationship. And yes, I do agree to that. Here's a couple comments that supports that claim. Somehow, this reads like OP knows only half of the horrors Mom went through. And at the hand of that man. And her sister has an idea because she grew up around him and his second wife. Really crappy and toxic situation for everyone involved, and only one person to blame. That probably is completely unfazed by all of it. Guys, do you agree with that? That's when the second commenter dropped this information. The dad was definitely abusive at minimum. Given that the mom of OP was traumatized, then gave up her daughter, and that same daughter then grows up with a deep trauma relating to the same man. So guys, do you think all this mishap and all the drama of this story is because of the toxic, abusive relationship that OP's long-lost sister's mother went through? Drop your thoughts about that down below. This story was deep. I want to know your thoughts on that, guys. But we're going to turn our attention now to the second and final story of today's video. It's an Am I the A-hole, but it's a good one. Am I the a-hole for telling my husband that I'll continue to sleep on my bed naked as long as his friend just keeps barging into the room? I'm a 29-year-old female. My husband's 34 and his best friend Jacob moved in with us. He's quiet and doesn't make a mess around the house like brother-in-law used to while he lived with us. However, Jacob has this habit of walking into the bedroom randomly to take stuff from my husband's closet. Say a watch or a shirt. He does it more frequently and it's gotten increasingly annoying. I felt like my privacy was being violated because, well, I'm a private person. I like to have quiet time reading or mediating. I tried to speak up on the issue, but got brushed off by both of them. Last week, Jacob barged in at 11 o'clock at night, interrupted my sleep. I was sleep deprived the whole day at work. I got fed up, so what I decided to do is start sleeping on top of the bed, fully naked, whenever I'm in there. Well, last night, Jacob walked in at about 10 p.m. while I was there, and when he saw me, he let out this loud shit and quickly turned around and rushed out. I started hearing a commotion outside, so I got dressed to see what was going on. I was met with a lot of yelling and scolding and shaming from my husband, saying I was out of line to expose his brother to such a horrendous sight. I asked what he meant. He yelled at me to stop acting dumb. I said I felt frustrated after my privacy got violated, and he went on about how Jacob was only there to grab something, which literally takes seconds. Then went on about how I made him uncomfortable while describing my behavior as, making me look like a girl that gets around. The argument got heated and he told me to start putting some decent clothes on and act like a lady instead of a little beep. It's his room too, and he's already given permission. I got mad and told him loudly, I'll keep sleeping on my bed naked as long as his friend keeps walking into the room. Then I walked off. He did not stop complaining and complaining, saying I'm being ridiculous, and even suggested that this was an attempt from me to make Jacob move out. Am I the a-hole? We're still arguing about it till the morning. Okay, so I think that's a weird thing to do, to go into someone's room without knocking, but I've seen people do it and they didn't even think about it, so I don't know. Maybe OP was overreacting in the sense of maybe the dude was clueless. He didn't even think about knocking, which I do think's ridiculous, but you never know. At the same time though, OP deserves all the privacy and does not have to think every second about someone barging into her room. So I do not think OP is the a-hole at all, but I would love to hear your opinion on this one, guys. She did get her revenge in a weird way because she had to expose herself, but let me know what you would have done differently. Drop those thoughts down below, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Do not forget to hit that subscribe button. As you already know, it's the best way to support me. Thanks again, and I'll catch you guys in tomorrow's video.